Hello, friends. I am going to rant. I'm not in a pleasant mood. So please, the haters, give me your comments. It's okay. I welcome it. The, um, the people that understand me will appreciate this. I'm going to list all the things I hate about the Philippines. Let's start with the bad food. The Filipino food is just bad. It's served cold. It's bad. Even the good food is bad, and it's served cold. And I don't know what's with Filipinos eating cold food. Maybe that's why they have this reference LBM, loose bowel movement. We don't use that reference in the United States because we don't have LBM as it relates to food in the mass quantities that they have in the Philippines, of the good food. So my theory is Filipinos need to heat their food better and order less of it. They tend to over order. It gets cold, it's served cold, and then they take it home cold. Chicken in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes begins to grow bad stuff. Red meats in an hour. So the bad food gets worse. Noise. In every place you go, it's noisy. It's partly due to the acoustics. Every building, every room in the Philippines, barring no exception, private exclusive condos, expensive restaurants, hotel lobbies, hotel rooms, with the exception of maybe hotel rooms because of the carpeting. The only place in the world that has carpeting in the Philippines is a hotel room. But the problem is it's noisy and it echoes. Everything's cement, hard surfaced. No restaurant is equipped to acousticize, is that a word? Their restaurant to control sound. Every room in America is designed like that. Not here in the Philippines. It's pretty tough. And then they blast music everywhere. They blast music in the passageways. They blast music in the taxis, in the grabs, in the restaurants. I have to enter a restaurant and routinely ask for it to be turned down. They blast music in lobbies of hotels. They blast music even as you walk the public streets, as you pass merchants. The speakers are located outside the door. And they're all lined up next to each other, blasting different music. Noise doesn't seem to bother Filipinos. I don't know why, and I'm a music lover, but I can't deal with background music noise. It just drives me nuts, and it's enhanced by the acoustic failures of every single building and room built that I have been in since 2005. Children in the Philippines have no sense of discipline. They don't medicate them with Ritalin and other drugs that children in the United States often have to succumb to moderate their behavior. But in the Philippines, it's emphasized even worse because they have yayas. We don't really have that. Even the wealthy in America don't travel with a yaya per kid and caravan through the restaurants and the malls and the public spaces. And then they like to not keep their children by their side. They like to send the yaya off at the restaurant or in the public space next to me. And the children are allowed to do what they want. They're allowed to climb the walls, literally. I've had to warn parents of their child's impending danger to glass windows. But, they tell me that their child was traumatized when I spoke to them. I find that the rich people here take snob level to just a whole new level. They treat the poor, not all, but many treat the poor very badly. Those poor people employed by the rich treat the poor very badly. I see it overemphasized, particularly in the A-class locations. And if you know the Philippines, which most of you don't from America, they have a class system, A, B, C, D, they actually label them. And we are, of course, founded on an anti-class system in America. Everyone is equal except for the rich and the famous who get hit hardest of any problem in the U.S., whereas the average man and the poor in America kind of have to be dealt with appropriately. In this country, the rich just treat poor people badly, and it's so unsettling to watch. I could give specific examples one by one in all that I've seen. The poor usually rely on, the rich usually rely on other poor people that they have employed to deal with the poor people, keep them away, keep them out. I've seen them not be allowed in hotels. I used to give away my meal tickets free. I used to get free Shangri-La breakfasts, and I'd go outside and give them to some of the poor residents in the neighborhood of Mandaluyong. And I was admonished by the assistant general manager of the hotel never to do such a thing, because we don't want those types in their hotel. Disgusting. Paper in the Philippines. I mean, I don't even know why they call it paper. You can't get a copy on a decent, 30-pound or 20-pound bond. It's about the worst paper you've ever seen. It's worse than what we would call copy paper in America. It's just unable to be used. And when they issue receipts and other things you have to keep for 6 years because of the American IRS, it fades and disintegrates in 6 months. The paper here is really deficient, and it's very difficult, but not impossible, to get upgraded papers. But routine paper here is just it's like toilet paper. It dissolves. It's just horrible. I can't explain it, but it is everywhere in every class of establishment. Bad paper, and napkins. God. The napkins are so small. I mean, when you ask for a napkin, they call it a tissue in the Philippines. It is just, it's tiny. It's like a 4x4, and you have to be so delicate with it and resourceful with it, because you'll never be able to use it for anything significant. I'll tell you that. They bill you for everything in the Philippines. Now, I must admit, as an American, everything's cheap, but it's almost at an annoyance level. If you ask for a little butter, a little sour cream, God forbid you try the sour cream in the Philippines. I'm not sure what it is, has a taste of its own. But when you ask for extra, they want to bill you for it. Even at the high-end expensive restaurants, it's just annoying. It's an annoyance. When you try to tip a waiter here, the owners, the establishment corporate entity, steals all the money. It doesn't go to the waiter. And I learned that very early on when a waiter whispered in my ear, "Don't fill in the tip section," and told me why in 2005. It's just horrendous how badly they treat their employees. But, the slave class has to obey. I'm trying to look at my list. Bad water. Well, I guess that's endemic all over the world. But, in Los Angeles, I can drink tap water. Now, I choose to filter it in my refrigerator. By the way, there are no refrigerators that provide general filtering here. Those are almost unseen in the stores. Ice cubes are hard to get, but not impossible. But you certainly can't get it easily out of your refrigerator. I'm looking at my list here. The air cons here are so deficient. They hardly keep you cold. Oh, certainly you can arrange for a proper air con in your own establishment, but not in a lot of the business establishments. Things just get warm, or it's blowing so cold that you have Filipinos working at the call centers wear sweaters and jackets in every day. It's a mind-boggling end of extremes. I don't know about air conditioners here. The overuse of cement is mind-boggling to me. I lived in a 34-floor condo. It's all cement. The inner walls are cement. The outer walls are cement. The exterior, the interior, no drywall, no glass of any significance, and the glass is not shatterproof. It falls, it will, decapitate you. So I don't know how these buildings are holding up in earthquakes, but they certainly are not made of wood and fiberglass and lightweight materials like drywall. Just cement on cement on cement on cement, which I think is a 1940s and 50s technology. So there are frustrations in living in the Philippines. If you can get past the noise and the bad food and all of that, there are a lot of good things. First of all, the people. The people in the Philippines are fabulous quality people. The institution of government here is a mirror of the United States because we created it. Of course, you know, they had to go ahead and ruin it by creating their own independent state when they had a choice of being a colony like Guam. But they went independent. That was their historic mistake. But their institution of government is perfect, but that's the institution. The people leading government tend to be a problem because it's an oligarchy. And the current president ain't part of that oligarchy, but he can only do so much. And I wish him good luck. So now that I'm trapped in the Philippines, not living the lifestyle that I'm used to say the least, I thought I would just do a rant and all the bad things of the Philippines. There's a lot more to go, but I don't want to overdo it in one video. God bless. Keep happy.